Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video we're going through the Gold Coast versus North Melbourne game, and today on Monday it will be all of the reviews for the last sort of games of the round for round 9. I just need to double check if I actually have done this review. No, I haven't. I did the other 7:30 game yesterday, so it is just the 3 reviews today. Hopefully get them done quickly as I've got stuff to do, but also just need to get these videos out for you guys so that you have them, I guess, there just to go through these games. I was sort of watching this Gold Coast North Melbourne game. It was hard because there was 2 7:30 games obviously, and you had the Western Bulldogs versus Richmond game. That was horrific, and this game was just as horrific as the other one. They should have both been at dead time slots, to be honest with you. But anyway, before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So, Gold Coast versus North Melbourne, in a game that I thought North Melbourne aren't going to concede 100 points after the first quarter, they conceded 120. It really sucks because I think that North Melbourne could legitimately concede 100 points in every single game aside from the game against Richmond, which will be an interesting watch to see what happens in that game because, North Melbourne just look horrific at the moment. Took Miller 108, and you'll just see this game, and it was just horrific viewing. Horrific viewing because of the dewy Darwin conditions. And I was kind of surprised that Closey went large, but luckily I had him on field in in fantasy, but I didn't have him on field in Supercoach. So took Miller 108. He was pretty good, and he's returning back to ish form, but he's not top of the line form, which is a little bit annoying. Mac Andrew, a 107. He did really well early and got off to a hot start, and then just sort of continued it a little bit and ended up with a 107. So I mean, not really much to talk about there about him as he's not fantasy relevant. Closey got off to an absolute flyer and got up to 100 in the end. I was hoping that his ratio would flip so that he would have a better fantasy score than Supercoach, but he ended up, I think, on a 107 Supercoach, so in the end he did all right. But I think, that was mostly down to the goals that he kicked. If he didn't kick those goals, he would have obviously ended up around the 80-odd for 82 for fantasy, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was around that sort of 80 or 75 for Supercoach. Witch 99, Flanders 98. Flanders did all right, I think, in the wet conditions. I don't know what Supercoach score he ended up with, but he did all right. Rowell a 91 and then an 83 in Supercoach. He just had a lot of clangers, so that didn't really help him out there. Let me just check. What did Flanders? Flanders ended up with a 108 in Supercoach, so he ended up all right. Alex Sexton, for those that somehow still held him, he did all right, but I don't think anyone that held him in fantasy really got much out of it, given that he had the price rises early, so you just got out of him quickly. Davey came in, went 84. Don't think there's much relevance there, and I don't even know if he might... Did he just get subbed out, or is he injured? I don't know exactly what happened there. Yuland 83, so a lockdown defender, they can have games like this. Look at Harry Cunningham and what he does as well. I think it's awfully similar to what Yuland will put up. He just had one of those games where he gets a couple of plus sixes, a couple of tackles in there. He sort of just filled out the stat sheet. Not going to be fantasy relevant, I don't think, in his career. Ainsworth, Anderson, King. Walter had a 2-goal 4 effort for a 62, so not going to be fantasy relevant or Supercoach relevant, I don't think, ever. But, it was a pretty decent effort from him, and he's going to have that breakout game where he kicks 4 or 5, so just watch for that. I mean, it's not going to have any relevance, but just watch. Humphrey came on last quarter and absolutely blitzed his way to a 60. So, he's one of those players that will be interesting in a couple of years' time, I wonder, as he has he's more of an impact player, so he's not really fantasy relevant, but he has these type of games where he can just explode, and we saw it last year in his rookie year where he just went off in some games and scores like a 90 or a 100, and you're just like, where did that come from? And then the next week he has like a 20. And I think that's very similar. He just was on a massive run here, and he just almost had the bite in him to go large if he'd actually played the full game. And I think that was partially attitude was partially because everyone was cooked, and he came on fresh legs and just ran over the top of everyone. Lukosius, Collins, Berry, Jeffries, Rogers, Ballant, Holman, and Johnson. Then we go over to North. David Juniak, a 105. He did all right here. A pretty horrendous second quarter with 2 free kicks against for an 8. And then he ended up with a 7 here, and 7 here in the last little bit weird that he had a handball taken away and a goal added and a kick, so that was a weird scoring adjustment. But yeah, a 75 second half from him, huge. He's not really shown that consistency yet, and there are a lot of... And this is the thing about me probably that's really poor, is I'm getting to the point now already in this season where I'm looking at the guys for next year, and you've got guys that are flashing on the radar, like the injury guys, the Dohertys, the Colemans, the Bazza Smiths, etc. But then you have underpriced primos like LDU. What happens if he stays at North or if he moves is because he's currently priced in like the what's that around? Is he actually averaging 89 or is he just priced at around 89? Because he's one that could easily go into the mid 90s, if not 100s, and he could be an underpriced guy next year. But I swear we say this every year. Fisher 103, he's done his job down back, which did push Sheasel out of the forward back line, and I got there eventually, and he scored 103 in the end. Fish, massive first half and then nothing in the second. So interesting to go back and watch this and see if he actually did have the role change or whatnot, or whether he just didn't get the ball in the second half. As if he didn't get the ball in the second half and just if he didn't get the ball in the second half but still had the role, then I'll be interested to actually maybe even jump back onto him as a forward, even though he is, just because of his price and the fact that he could go 140s if he just gets a solo roll back there without Sheasel. McKercher, 88. He's done really well moving back there. Not really a keeper score, so I've sort of neglected him, I guess. Stevenson, Scott, Powell, 77. He sort of got his roll back, but sort of didn't, so it was kind of a weird one. That's Sir Haas. If we look at Powell here, if it will load, it's been pretty slow. 22, 17, 14, 24. He sort of was there or thereabouts, but never really got the tackling going, which was the hallmark of what he should have been doing in this Gold Coast North Melbourne game. Wardlaw 73, Sheasel 71. Sheasel just didn't do anything basically. He had an alright first quarter, and then after that he just had 19, 15, 15. Combin, Phillips came in and basically ruined everyone's role. I don't get why they still play him. He's not fancy. Well, he's not fancy relevant, and he's not AFL relevant at this point. He's shown that, and for so much for being sort of a in and under guy, I think he only ended up with, 2 tackles the whole game. If that, 2 tackles the whole game it looks like for him, and 1 mark. So he really isn't fancy relevant at all, and I don't really think he makes much of a difference in general. Tucker, Shields, Sherry finally had a bad game. So probably those people that have him, I don't know if you can wait a week or whatnot, because you kind of want to move him on already. But then again, he sort of has that bye coming up, and then you can sort of... It's a tough one, because that bye implication sort of means that he's got 2 more weeks or whatnot, and then 2 more weeks than a bye. So what do you do with him? McDonald, Curtis, Greenwood, Archer, Hardman, Larkey, Lazaro, and Drury. This North Melbourne team is really, really poor. And they're just getting smoked each week. But anyway, that pretty much is the video. They're going through the Gold Coast versus North Melbourne game, and I'll see you guys for the review of the Sunday games. Bye, guys.